each of these has a opening and closing, okay, but we haven't closed it off here yet. Okay, so you'll notice when I put the closed square brackets here that this will animate. Okay, and that's showing you that you've properly closed off that that method. Okay, so if we save that and let's run that. Okay, okay, so there you go. My age is 30, and that's what we defined it as here. And my name is Grant Apt, and that's what I defined it as here. So if we change that, 40, and my name is Eric Clapton. Run that. My age is 40, and my name is Eric Clapton. Okay, so we've now written our own setter methods to set the value of the instance variables that are stored in these methods. So we can set the value, and then we can get the value, what's called returning the value that's stored in those instance variables by using the getter method, in which case we called it age and name. And then using this string with format, we were able to combine a string plus the values that we get with these methods. Okay. So what we've seen now is how to create our own class, and each class has a header file and an implementation. So we have an interface where we outline our instance variables and our method names. And then in the .m file is where we write the code that gets executed when we call this method. Okay. So you notice when we were writing the code for these methods, okay, the code completion knew the name of these methods. Set age, it knew there was a method called set age because we defined it here. Okay, and the setters will simply take in an argument and then assign that value. So in our method over here, we typed in 40, so that's an integer, and that's what this method setAge was expecting. So the value of 40 was temporarily assigned to this variable, this integer variable called age. But then in the actual code, we assigned that value, 40, to our instance variable called myAge. And then when we use the getter method to return the value, and this method name is called age. That's the method name. And we simply returned the value that was stored in myAge, which was 40. Okay. So in this way you can create your own methods yourself, giving them your own names and combining methods together to make it more convenient. And then you can use these methods on instances of a class in this case in the view controller. So we created a new instance of my class by allocating it and initializing it, and then we can call the methods that we wrote on the name of our instance of that class. Okay. So that's about all I want to cover today. So we talked about primitive data types, so integers and floats, and how we can do mathematical operations on those like we did up here, and then print them to a label. Then making decisions, we looked at using the if statement and the if-else statement, and how we can decide whether certain conditions are met, and then based on whether those conditions are met or not, we can execute different parts of the code. Then we did looping with the for statement, we did here. So the for statement is a good way of repeating calculations until certain criteria are met, and then the looping will stop. And then finally creating our own class, and then in a separate part of our application using that class by creating an instance and then calling the methods that we wrote on that instance. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll see you next week.